LSU picks up an elite defensive back commitment for 2026, but where will he play for the Tigers? Let's talk about it. Locked on LSU. Let's go.
You are Locked On LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, let's get it. It is Locked On LSU, your team every day. I'm your host, Matt Moscona. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. We are free, available wherever you get podcasts, of course, on YouTube as well. So please subscribe. As always, one of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving your comments below. So thank you so much for that. Tigers get a commitment for the 2026 class. We'll talk about also Brian Kelly gives an update on John Emery status and the communication, or lack thereof, that he's had with LSU. We'll get to that here in just a brief second. But Friday evening, LSU picked up its 8th commitment for the 2026 class. It is defensive back Dylan Purter out of Alabama. Now, he's at Booker T. Washington High School in Tuskegee, Alabama. He is a consensus 4-star in the On3 composite, the number 339 overall prospect, the 29th best cornerback, and the number 14 player in the state of Alabama. One of the things I often say is I am far less concerned with the star rating or your ranking, and I am far more concerned with who has offered you. Let me see that offer list. Well, when we look at Dylan Purter, you could look at the fact that he's number 339 nationally in the composite and not be impressed. But he's got offers from LSU, where he's now committed, Florida, Auburn, South Carolina, Arkansas, Missouri, a lot of SEC schools in there. Some smaller schools too: Houston, Liberty, Marshall, Troy, Vanderbilt, Georgia State. But the bottom line is it's got a lot of interest. And one of the things that I really like about this is we have spent so much time talking about the 2026 class for LSU with respect to Louisiana, and the fact that this is an elite class in the state of Louisiana for for 2026 prospects. And if you look at the On3 composite, is what I was trying to say there. If you look at the player rankings in the state of Louisiana, and I know this is redundant, but if you're an everydayer, thank you for that. You've heard this, but for those who maybe aren't, I'll repeat it. This is an elite bumper crop year in the state. Lamar Brown, number 1 player in the state. He's number 22 nationally, number 1 interior offensive lineman. Blaine Bradford, the number 2 safety, number 25 nationally. Richard Anderson, LSU commit, number 29 nationally, the number 1 defensive tackle in the country. Right there, you have 3 players that are in the top 30 nationally, all of the top 2 of their position. Aiden Hall, LSU commit, number 55 nationally. Jabari Mack, LSU lean, number 82 nationally. Bryson Martinez, LSU commit, number 92 nationally. It's 6 players in the top 100 nationally from the state. 3 are already committed to LSU. That doesn't even include Kenny Darby, also an LSU commit at 149, or Ja'Kai Anderson at number 290, that's an LSU commit, who is a fast riser in recruiting circles right now. So we focus so much on the state for 2026. We maybe haven't spent as much time looking at the out-of-state guys. Well, this week LSU landed Tristan Keys from Hattiesburg, Mississippi kid, number 1 wide receiver in the country. Massive when you can do that. And now you go add your second out-of-state prospect for the 2026 class in Dylan Purter, this defensive back. Now, Purter is listed as a cornerback. 6'1", 172, which is a big cornerback. 6'1", 172, he's long. And so you can see the coverage skills very clearly. However, in an interview that Purter did after his commitment with On3, he lauded Jake Olson. And Jake Olson, of course, is LSU's safety coach. And if you look at his recruiting profile, his primary recruiter is Jake Olson. His secondary recruiter, Corey Raymond. That may give you a little insight into what LSU thinks of Dylan Purter at the college level. Could he be a cornerback? Sure, certainly could be. But at 6'1", 175, you're looking at a guy with a big frame who has coverage skills, but as a physical player, they also think maybe can help them at safety, and that might be where he slots in. And when you start to look just at the depth chart and the safety and really the defensive back rooms for 2026, remember, Jordan Gilbert's going to be gone. Mansour Delane could very well be gone as well. So you're not losing, and Delane is very likely going to slot in at cornerback this year, but could play safety as well, the Virginia Tech transfer. You're going to return a ton of talent, though, in 2026 at both corner and at safety. But I get to a point here that'll make sense when I tie this together. Deshaun Spears will be in his third year at LSU in 2026. Tamarcus Cooley will be, should he return, right, provided he returns. This is his third year of college, played Maryland, NC State, now he's at LSU. So he could leave after this year, but provided he returns, you'd have Spears, Cooley, Toviano could certainly return for a fourth season. Joel Rogers would be in his third season. And then you got a couple of freshmen, CJ Jim Coyley, Jace Thomas, some Louisiana kids. That's 6 safeties already potentially on the roster for 2026. Now, at corner, it's a little more dicey for 2026. DJ Pickett will be back, right? He'll be in his second season. Well, does Ashton Stamps come back for a senior year, fourth season? Maybe. Does Jakeem Jackson play an extra season, a second in Baton Rouge? Maybe. Does PJ Woodland stick around? When you look at the depth right there, same for Michael Turner. Guys entering their second season at LSU, but down that depth chart with Stamps, Pickett, Jackson, Delane. I mean, those 4 are, you're too deep right now at corner. So the other guys I mentioned, Woodland and Turner, they're going to be buried down the depth chart a little bit. So it feels like this is one of those targets that as a staff, LSU looks and goes, okay, we love the player and he's versatile. He could play corner or safety. And maybe it's a situation where in 2026, he slots in the defensive backfield wherever you need him, because it looks like you could be really deep at safety and thin at corner, but that could also flip. Like, what if Stamps and Jackson and Woodland and Delane all come back in 2026 when you're loaded all over the place? And maybe what you're looking at is the star position. Brian Kelly's talked about this a little bit. Major Burns has played the star. Javen Toviano last year was playing the star. We saw Juwan Johnson, who was a high school cornerback, play the star position as well. This year, it's going to be Harold Perkins. So that's a very versatile queen piece on the chessboard type role, depending on what you feel like you need in your defense. Do you need physicality and run support? Do you need someone who can turn and cover? Do you need a hybrid blend of both? You could sort of pick and choose or find your best player that's doesn't have a spot at safety or corner and put him there. I guess my point is, when I look at a guy like Dylan Purter, in time, I assume he is going to evolve and develop very firmly and solidly into one of those, either a corner or a safety, maybe star, we'll see. But the reason you like it so much right now is because you see a guy at 6'1", 172 who's got cover skills, but also has the size to put on weight and be a safety, or potentially use his cover skills, still put on the size and play star. It's a very versatile player. And I love the fact that you went into Alabama and got him as well when he's got an Auburn offer already and a bunch of other SEC offers. So the 8th commitment for LSU for the class of 2026, LSU currently first in the country, which of course makes them first in the SEC with just 8 commitments, which is pretty incredible when you think of it in those terms, because that's so few commits. For example, LSU with 8 commits, number 1 in the country. Southern Cal has 15 commits. They're number 2. Oregon has 9. They're number 3. Texas A&M has 7. Auburn has 6. You look down at Clemson with 12 commits at number 7. Penn State and Tennessee, 8 and 9, both with 8 commits, like LSU. So when you look at LSU with those 8 commits, it's very clear that what you're talking about here is quality over quantity, and you expect that quality and quantity to continue to improve as you hopefully start to pop all the top guys in the state of Louisiana. Look, you get Lamar Brown and Blade Bradford and all the guys we've been talking about that they're top players in Louisiana. You get those 6 top 100 players in Louisiana, you have an awesome chance of finishing with the number 1 class in the country if you can keep it all together. But Dylan Purter, an out-of-state guy who picked the Tigers on Friday. See if you can get it to the finish line with him back in December. And we'll know much better, obviously, in December as well, what your needs are going to be, corner or safety, depending on who goes to the draft, who goes to the portal. It's an evolution, but this is a prospect clearly LSU likes an awful lot. They made him a priority starting in February when they offered him, And just about a month later after his offer, he made a visit to LSU, and boom, now he's a member of the class of 2026. We'll certainly keep you posted as that develops. Okay, it is Locked On LSU, your team every day. The Tigers practiced on Saturday. Afterwards, Brian Kelly spoke with reporters, and one of the things he discussed was John Emery's future. You're going to want to hear this next. Locked On LSU, your team every day. We are all about the stats because numbers don't lie. And when it comes to the all-new Nissan Armada PRO-4X, the numbers are on an MVP level. With the ability to tow up to 8,500 pounds, it can quite literally carry the whole team, plus the gear, wherever you need to go. It's powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine, delivering the strength and performance to handle highways, back roads, and everything in between. And with room for up to 8 people, the Armada PRO-4X is built for big crews, big adventures, and even bigger memories. Whether you're exploring off-road trails or rolling up to the arena, the Armada PRO-4X brings power, versatility, and style wherever you go. Take your adventures to new heights in the all-new Nissan Armada PRO-4X. Learn more at nissanusa.com. Today's show is also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy, and of course, daylight savings snuck up on us again. And if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late to watch the NCAA tournament, you're squeezing in a round of golf after work, or you just want to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. Look, you're staying up late for the March Madness or for LSU baseball, maybe longer days, you're getting outside for a hike to play that round of golf. Whatever your favorite is, whatever your flavor is, find it with 5 Hour Energy. Personally, my favorite is the extra strength grape. You can find yours, blue raspberry, watermelon, peach mango, with more than 15 flavors to choose from. You can build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. If you need one now, grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized with 5 Hour Energy. Well, John Emery surprised a lot of people this week when he announced on social media that he would be returning for a 7th college football season. Now, if you're interested in my full thoughts on John Emery returning, you can go check out the podcast or the YouTube channel just a few episodes back. You get my full thoughts on John Emery returning. But one of the things I did say in that episode is that it's certainly not determined that he'll be back at LSU. Remember, LSU is very deep already at running back. You're returning Caden Durham. You're returning Caleb Jackson. You're bringing in Trey Holly, a 5-star number 1 running back in the country. You have JT Lindsey coming in June, and there's still the possibility that Trey Holly, his legal situation could be adjudicated. He could return. That would be 5 running backs. And then you also have the possibility of using Juwan Johnson, Xavier Thomas in the running game as well. The bottom line is you just don't have a spot. Quite honestly, I don't even know, we don't know the numbers right now, but they may not have a scholarship spot available either for John Emery. Now, a year ago, that was a similar situation when John chose to come back. It looked like he was going to go elsewhere, but ultimately the Trey Holly situation didn't get resolved. They needed running back depth. They gave John the opportunity and option to come back, which he did. Well, that was my take earlier this week when the announcement came that John Emery was going to return for a 7th season. Brian Kelly, Saturday after LSU practice, was asked about John Emery and if he's spoken to his running back about his future.
Well, we haven't talked to John about it. It was the first that we heard. We love John, but sometimes, things happen and, we don't know where it came from. But we'll be supportive in any way that we can. But we're set where we're at in terms of the running back position. But love John, and we'll be here to help and support him. And if he's given the 7th year, he's certainly a young man that can help somebody in the Power 4.
Well, very high of Brian Kelly there to vouch for John Emery there, someone to help a Power 4 team at running back. But he told you there that they're set at running back. So there's really not an open door for John Emery. The one situation I could see is if something like last offseason happens. If unfortunately, Trey Holly, who's supposed to go to trial in July, if for some reason that doesn't go as expected, it's delayed again, or if Trey Holly's not able to return to LSU and you do all of a sudden have both the scholarship and running back spot open, then maybe you could see the invitation being extended to John Emery to come back like it was a year ago. I mean, I just think about a couple of years ago when LSU had 8 scholarship running backs, which was just an absurd amount. And ultimately, they did pare down that number in the rotation. And some of those guys left, clearly. But if LSU goes into this season with 4, potentially 5, if Trey Holly comes back, that's more than enough. Listen, I said it earlier this week. I said it when John Emery was injured. I said it when he was graduated. I said it last year. My point will always be John Emery is the epitome of perseverance, and I will cheer for him as a human wherever he goes, be it in college football or life. So, and he's earned his perseverance, I think, should have earned all of our respect. So I'll pull for John Emery wherever it may be. It just appears like it won't be at LSU. We'll see where that may be whenever the time comes and he makes an announcement. We'll talk about it here. Hey, thanks so much for making us your first listen every single day. If you're on podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Rate us, leave a review. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And let a friend know that if they love the Tigers, we got you every single day for Locked On LSU, your team every day.